I grew up in London and attended an all-girls school my whole life. So body image and discussing the impacts of that was something that was present, particularly in my high school career, and was something that was very important to a lot of the women in my school to understand how to support one another, but also how to address the issues as we grow up and go through university and join the workforce.
I think I started to notice that I had a weird relationship with food in about 8th grade or so, just because I would often, eat certain things at lunch and see my friends eating other things and feel very out of control in that. And that, I was like, wow, I've always been like a little chubby. I've always had extra meat in my bones, for lack of a way of putting it, but I never thought anything was wrong with it until, you got into that phase in middle school where people started like fat shaming other people. So then I just, to kind of get that control back, I kind of just stopped eating and just really heavily restricting. That's when I kind of knew I had a problem, and I didn't address that problem until my sophomore year of high school. But it's not a problem that has gone away from me, and it honestly, like when I first got to Lehigh, it was very exacerbated by Lehigh and the environment that is existing here.
Do you think that there's a specific toxicity at Lehigh or amongst different communities at Lehigh that you feel with body image?
I wouldn't say that it's specific to Lehigh. I think that it is an issue that is worldwide. It may vary from country to country or school to school. I think that certain aspects of Lehigh heighten it or make it worse, given that we are a university that has a Greek system and also Division I sports. To kind of have the two of those play off one another, I think is an interesting dynamic.
When I first got here, I was an average weight girl, nothing overweight, but I felt horrible about myself. It was more so just like the culture and the words being utilized by my peers, like, oh, she's so skinny, like she looks so good, or oh my God, I would kill for that body, and everyone being focused on like putting on their crop tops and skirts and going to parties and making sure they look like picture perfect and thin in photos. The existing undertones of like the lack of body positivity on this campus and like the reinforcement of like societal norms of what is considered beautiful, and it's being reinforced by the men on this campus, but it's also being reinforced by the women adhering to the notions, kind of like subscribing to that locker room talk.
I think women in particular could do a much better job at supporting one another and talking about the issues. It's very easy in this kind of environment to become competitive and everything be about who has the best Instagram picture, who has the best outfit at the party, who looks the best at the party.
I think that Greek life on this campus has the responsibility and the power as an entity that is kind of exacerbating these body positivity issues to take ownership of that, acknowledge that, and combat that. Because you can't really combat that issue if one of the biggest perpetuators of it on campus is not openly admitting that they're contributing to that and living under this like pseudo acceptance thing.
So being involved in the gym and fitness environment, whether that was me lifting with the varsity athletes or lifting in the regular gym, I always felt that there was a certain pressure to conform, not just with the way you look in terms of fitness, but also the way that you dress. I think that Lehigh has a lot of people who are affected by the issue, and perhaps not talking about it is what can make it feel stigmatized when you're right in the middle of it and you feel like the attention is on you, because nobody is really talking about it on a regular basis.
So many women on this campus that I encounter don't even realize that they have an eating disorder. So many women I encounter in general, but especially on this campus, especially in Greek life, it's toxic. It's, just the pressure to feel thin is crushing. It really is.
I think that the issue presents itself perhaps in a unique way at Lehigh, but it's not necessarily specific to the institution.
The problem is this campus places the value of women in their appearance, which is very problematic, and the reason why I think that we see rampant problems with eating disorders on this campus, whether people want to call it that or not. So people will use the terminology getting healthier, being fit, or trying this new diet, but it's an obsession, it's an addiction, and it's cause for concern because there are so many women I know that friends in their life are reinforcing this and reinforcing these habits and aren't addressing the problem that's at hand, which is that you have a destructive relationship with food and you are unhealthy.
Are there specific things that in your life through fitness and health and going to the gym that you found have empowered you?
Yeah, I think so. You know, there are pressures to look a certain way on social media and in person, and I think that it really is up to you on how you receive that information and how you kind of integrate that into your life.
I'm not saying we don't acknowledge and commend our sisters that have gone through a weight loss journey and found empowerment in that in a healthy way. But you could say, you look so healthy, you look so happy, you're glowing, you know. Also, to stop comparison culture, just like, for instance, like, I would kill for your body. Like, you have your own body, and your body's awesome, you know?
And I found the gym was empowering because I was able to build my body in ways that I actually had control over, and I learned to let go of the things that I couldn't change about myself. I can slim down, I can tone up, but I can't change the size of my boobs, I can't change my nose, and they're not things that I want to change anymore because it's what makes me me and what makes me unique, and everybody has that feature, and I think you just have to learn to, embrace the parts that you don't really love and accept it as yourself.
It took me a while to realize that food wasn't my enemy and that food was nourishing my body, and that's something I still have to convince myself of most days.
Yeah.
What do you think is one of the most important things that both women and men can take as a step forward to make it a better world for people of different body sizes and different body types?
To complement one another, I think, is a really important aspect of maintaining friendships, but also starting positive relationships. I try, for the most part in my day, to compliment somebody on something that they're wearing or the way that they've put their outfit together or the way that they look. I think you should really just focus on the positive, why you like it, and be genuine with it. Don't make it forced, and it's often well received and much needed, especially for girls. Just passing comment of, oh, I really like your shoes, or I really like your hair, and it makes them feel good and it'll make you feel good too.
Language shapes the world. The type of language we use surrounding anything shapes how we view that thing. So just, kind of watching your language that you're utilizing. A big epidemic, so skinny, so beautiful, like flame emoji. If you see your environment on campus is reinforcing these ugly stereotypes, these absurd standards of beauty for women and men too as well, step outside of it, talk to someone new, start a conversation with a different community on campus. It can really make you feel better, but can also open up a new space for this conversation that needs to be had. I think that people just need to remember that they are healthy, and that being thin is not everything. Don't be afraid to talk about how you feel and the experiencing you're having, because it's genuine, it's real, and a lot of other women on campus are experiencing the exact same thing.